One day I was just scrolling on my phone and, well, because I was procrastinating, and as usual I came across a healthy habit video. Made me think maybe I should try these, but then I thought, I don't really have the time or the energy for any of that, and I'm already so tired. And all that stuff is, well, probably BS. Anyway, but then it made me be the self-aware person that I am. I started to think, maybe I'm just being pessimistic, and I wonder if these habits can actually make any difference. So I searched for healthy habits and came across a point of a list with daily habits that I heard over and over again. Get 8 hours of sleep, have a solid breakfast, exercise, eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, drink 2 liters of water, journal, plan, read, make your bed, brush your teeth. I mean, honestly, all of those seem pretty difficult right now. So how hard could they possibly be? Well, guess what? I've been doing all those habits for over a year. I even did more research on these habits and surprisingly found scientific evidence behind each of these healthy habits, which was shockingly surprising. Lastly, let me just be clear. Huge, massive transformation cannot be possible within a week or two. No matter what the habit is, remember I always say consistency is key, and progress over perfection. So here's my first habit, which is sleeping 8 hours a night. On this, we're going to explore more about the habits of getting 8 hours of sleep, because, well, nowadays it seems impossible to get a full 8 hours of sleep every single night, because between with school, work, socializing, and so many more activities, who actually has time to be unconscious for a whole 8 hours? And do we even need to sleep that much? In the first place, well, sleep is obviously dependent on each individual, but what we do know for sure is that it's extremely important because sleep regulates your emotions. For just one night, it can increase your emotional response to negative feeling, but also sleep regulates your body essential fluctuation like appetite control, immune system. It could also increase your chances of developing chronic disease like diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. One study even showed that getting only 5 hours of sleep per night for 4 nights in a row negatively affects the mental performance to the same exact of having a blood alcohol content. But none of this answers the question of how much sleep you actually need per night. Well, according to researchers, it is rare for anyone to need fewer than 6 hours of sleep to fluctuate. When someone says they are totally fine without sleep, it's most likely because they are simply used to the negative effect of reducing sleep. But that doesn't mean their body needs any less. They're actually just performing at a lower level. However, what we do know is that most adults between 18 to 60 years old need anywhere between 7 or more hours of sleep, and 8 hours being the average, which is where the habits of 8 hours of sleep come from. But it depends various. Now, between a person to person, like me and you, I completely understand that some people just don't have the luxury of getting enough sleep. Those working multiple jobs just to get by, or those who are single parent but also in school and working. For those who are sleeping that has a disorder, honestly, getting a good enough sleep is truly a privilege, and that we often take granted for. Sometimes I think to myself, why would I make my bed in the morning if I'm going to sleep in it and mess it all up again later at night? And to be honest, scientific research of the impact of making your bed each morning sufficiently is slim. However, there is a lot of evidence that shows a clear link between an organized and clutter-free space. And the reason because of this is, well, it makes you be more productive and having a lower level of stress. A decluttered environment makes for a decluttered mind. And one of the biggest things that is the center of our attention is, well, your room. And it's most likely your bed. There's this guy named, his name is William H. McRevin, and the author of this book makes your bed little things can change your life. And maybe the world admires the idea that making your bed in the morning set you up for success, as it would be the first accomplishment of the day and provide motivation. But personally, I do it every day because, I mean, I won't lose my mind if I have a day where my bed is messy, but it's just something I prefer. So now let's talk about the breakfast, the topic that is really confusing because we used to hear that breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. But now there are things that are like intermittent fasting, intuitive eating, and a lot of consolidation of ideas of not relying on nutrition. Now, I'll be honest, this is kind of a difficult topic through nutrition because, well, there's a ton of sign of all kind of direction of what we should do, what we should eat, the goals of losing weight, and so we feel good. And there's a lot of reason because of that. It really comes down to processed food and how they want you to become obese. So then when you do, you start eating healthier, but then they'll mark up the price. But I mean, that's for a whole nother topic. I don't even want to get into that. But you know, what makes it so complicated is even more is, well, I mean, the breakfast is a very profitable business. So no wonder these studies are funded by large cereal corporations trying to convince us that their bowl of sugar first thing in the morning is healthy. One study showed that analyzing healthy data of people over 7 years found that people who eat or make large breakfasts of the day were more likely to have a lower body mass index rather than who have a large lunch or dinner. Personally, my opinion, I think that if you're a breakfast person, then eat it. If you're not, then don't. I think the type of food matters the most. Now, do I eat breakfast? Sometimes, not all the time, mostly because I don't want to cook every time. I am an early bird, so the minute I get up, I get coffee, which that's not the best habit, but I'll get to that maybe another time. Okay, so journaling. I've been journaling for a while, since I could literally write. I can show you some of my journal from like literally 5 years ago. So I was looking around, I couldn't really find my old journal, like from 5 years ago, but this was from 2020, so what, that 20 years ago. It was 3 years ago. And something, you know, what's cool about this is like sometimes I like to read at like what date I was like, whoa, that's what I was thinking. Oh, so this day I was talking about Amazon FBA with the private label. Usually when I write my journal, I talk a lot about like mostly about business ideas, about what's going on with my personal life. Anyway, before I start reading you my whole journal, I just like to write down my thoughts. It always has been an outline for me, and it's just not just me either. Actually, there's a brain scan that have shown that putting feeling down on paper reduces activity in a part of the brain called the amygdala. Okay, so I have a book of neuroscience. Don't even ask me why I'm reading this neuroscience textbook. I'm not even taking any classes, but to show you an example, I will show you from the textbook. Okay, so this is the brain, and the amygdala is probably located right over here. However, what this does is it's the responsibility for controlling the intensity of our emotion. Dr. Lehman from CLA says that writing seems to help the brain regulate emotion unintentionally, whether it's writing things down in a journal, writing bad poem, or even making up a song lyric that should never be played on the radio. It's funny because actually there was some time where I did write some song lyrics during like the pandemic, and I mean some of the lyrics did hit. I mean I can see it, maybe like someone singing it, maybe not me, but someone that has a good voice. Anyway, it seems to help people emotionally. There are more obviously benefits like boosting the mindfulness, memory, and communication skills. Journaling can also lead to better sleep. It would also help you be more self-confident and even a stronger immune system. How is this even possible? Well, a whole scenario of things that often says that Dr. Penny Baker, a social psychologist at the University of Texas, journaling can help label emotion and acknowledge trauma event, things that are often incorporated in therapy, thereby allows us to make sense of the trauma, leading to better memories and well sleep, which then improves the immune system. Focusing on journaling, writing can be beneficial on the contrary. Okay, so reading. I've been seeing a lot of videos, more and more videos on YouTube, social media, and just about reading books, which is really cool to see. Because when I was younger, I wasn't really into reading as much as I was today. I think it was really mostly because I never really found my genre or really tried. Now, instead of being on YouTube or scrolling on social media or just being on my phone, I'd rather just read because it's so much better for you in many different ways. I think sometimes people feel pressured to read self-help books or non-fiction books or adult books. And like I said previously, when I was younger, I did not like reading at all. And it was mostly because I didn't find my genre, but I think it really just comes down to just read whatever you can, or read as much as you can. Like I said, it doesn't really have to be anything about like self-help book. It can be a book that is entertaining, like biography. And that actually is one of the genres that I just got into because it's really fascinating to see people's lifestyle and see like their journey of where they got to now. And I think that is so awesome to see. Sometimes there are even books where people like publish their journal. And I was thinking maybe one day I can publish my journal because I have a lot of them and I feel like some of them would be really cool to publish one day. But I don't know, that might just be one day, and who knows. If you made it up this far into the video and you want to watch more of my videos, check out this video right here. This is a really cool video, highly recommend it. And if you have any questions, comment below, and I will see you guys in the comments.